Leonida Keys are another key location on the GTA 6 map. They are based on the real-life Florida Keys, which are located on the southern tip of Florida. And I'm going to tell you everything we know about Leonida Keys in GTA 6. I'll start with the general stuff first and move on to the map-related stuff later. So stick around. My name is Sauko and I'm part of the GTA 6 mapping community. I actively work with the creators of the community maps in order to create them. Currently, mostly with Yanis, as Dupso is taking a slightly longer break. So I should know stuff about GTA 6 and the GTA 6 map. Firstly, let's begin with the GTA 6 website, which has a description for Leonida Keys. Gateway to Paradise. This could mean that Leonida Keys is the gateway to Leonida, and likely it's the gateway for drugs to Leonida, as Florida Keys have been a part of several smuggling operations from South America to the United States of America. Or I could be completely wrong about this and it could just mean that Gateway to Paradise, I don't fucking know. Leonida Keys are kind of like a paradise. The dress code is casual and the bars are loaded. Life in this tropical archipelago isn't flashy, but it's easy. You are right on the doorstep of some of the most beautiful and dangerous waters in all of America. So Leonida Keys are this very casual and relaxed area with possibly a lot of old people. And of course, this is for the normal person, as what we will probably be doing here as Jason and Lucia is probably smuggling drugs. And that's probably what makes the waters so dangerous. Or it's just the sharks. The Keys seem to be an important early game location, as it seems that our first safe house will be at the Keys, and it's likely that we will be limited to just Key Lento or the Keys at the start of the game, and Key Lento is this island, more about that later. It would of course make sense to limit the access of the player to a small area at the start of the game, so that they don't wander off too far. Rockstar could use the Conch Republic to limit the access of the player. Basically, Key West and the other Keys claimed independence in 1982 because the US government was restricting access to the Keys by blocking the bridges and making roadblocks in order to stop drug trafficking into the United States. And you know who is doing some drug trafficking? Jason. This is supported by the fact that there is a Conch Republic flag in the game, but this could just be a reference to this being a thing that just happened in the past, and it might not be happen during the game. Then, of course, we know the person who has probably been the reason for all of this smuggling, and that is Brian Heder, who has been living on the Keys and has been smuggling for a long time. He lives on the Keys with his current wife, Lori, and he lets Jason live in one of his own properties on the Keys. And in return, Jason provides favors for Heder. So Brian Heder is probably this early game mission giver on the Leonida Keys. Then Cal Hampton, who also lives on the Keys, is Jason's best friend, and he too works with Heder. And of course, Jason Duvall lives on the Keys, and more specifically on Key Lento. Key Lento is the first key from the mainland, and it's basically a town. It's over 2 kilometers long, so several times bigger than Palate Bay from GTA 5. Key Lento has a lot of residential homes, some stores and tourist attractions, and even a few residential blocks. And the name Key Lento is still slightly speculative, as it comes from this shirt. But the island is likely called Key Lento. And of course, Key Lento is based on several in real life keys, such as, of course, Key Largo, Isla Morada, and Marathon. So anything from Key Largo to Marathon can be on Key Lento. And Lento means slow in Spanish, so the slow key, which is a very suitable name. Let's move on to the map. The first scene of trailer 2 takes place on the right side of Key Lento. Here on the front we can see 180 Pompano Drive, 164 Pompano Drive, 200 Pompano Drive and 500 Pompano Drive. Holy shit, these houses are expensive. Few of these houses are yet to be identified. This 24/7 supermarket gas station combo is based on a real-life Circle K on Key Largo. Also, the surroundings around it are very similar, like the bend in the US one, the road. This building is David C. Ritz Booster Pump Station, which is basically water infrastructure. This building is 843 Largo Road. This building is the Key Largo Visitor Center, and the small mall next to it is also there in real life. And of course, there's a bridge towards the northeast from Key Lento to some even more keys, but we really don't know much about them, only that they connect to Vice City, unlike in real life. Then moving on to this area, which is Jason's house and its surroundings. And unfortunately, and for some reason, none of the buildings around Jason's house have been identified, or even Jason's house in real life. We don't know what's it's based on. This location was also in the leaks, so we have accurate coordinates for it, but we weren't able to identify any of this yet back then, only that it was on the keys. But yeah, this is probably the first safe house we will have in GTA 6, and it seems like Jason and Lucia are doing renovations on it during the story, as we can see some construction materials in some scenes and the house improves during the trailer. So this is the floor layout of the house. A lot of scenes in trailer 2 take place here, and it seems like Jason has a pet snake and a pet iguana with a shirt. Then the community map has a lot of empty areas around here, because a lot of these things are not identified and we don't have too good looks into here. But this area around Jason's house is full of houses, and of course trees, but mostly houses. Then let's talk about this apartment block. It's interesting because Key Largo doesn't have any apartment blocks this tall, or Marathon or Isla Morada for that matter. So this building is actually from Miami Beach, and it's actually a duplicated building, because it's already in the game here. We saw it in the leaks and the trailers, so we know it's the same building. This is one of the first proofs we have for Rockstar duplicating buildings and just moving them to God knows where. So it's very interesting. Then we move on to the Rusty Anchor, which is based on the Caribbean Club on Key Largo. A lot of trailer 2 scenes and screenshots take place here. Interestingly, the Rusty Anchor has a windmill, which it doesn't have in real life anymore. However, back in the 1940s and 1950s, there was one on the Caribbean Club, but since it has been burned down. The windmill is featured in the movie Key Largo from 1948, so Rockstar probably included the windmill because of that. And here's the interior map of the Rusty Anchor. And as it's presented in trailer 2 several times, and it's right between Jason's house and Brian's marina, we can assume that it's going to be a major location in the game. But before Brian's marina, we have the real-life Jimmy Johnson's Fisherman Cove, which is a small holiday resort seen in this screenshot. And in real life it's right next to the Caribbean Club, just like in game. And then we move on to Brian's Marina. Brian's Marina seems to be the location where he runs his illegal operations from, with the help of Jason, Cal, his wife and others. Brian seems to have a biplane here, which can be launched from water. And it seems like the marina also works as a marina and has legal business, just because there is a fucking massive sign, Brian's Marina, on the roof of the marina. Here is the approximated map of the marina building, and the marina is based on Marina Club at Blackwater Sound. Then, on the west side of the marina, there's apartment buildings based on Florida Bay Club. And then a bit more west of that is this radio/microwave or cell tower. It was previously used by military, but is currently in real life used by cell providers to provide cell service to the area. Then, the buildings in this area are still yet to be identified. However, as you can see, there is a lot of them here, mostly residential homes. Then, this scene with Jason walking with the beer bottles takes place in this Bay Fair supermarket. And the small white hut is also visible in the scene, which is opposite to the supermarket. And that scene takes place about here. And then next to that is this apartment building, which is actually based on a building on Front Street in Key West. They have taken a part of the building and placed it here on Key Lento instead of Key West or whatever. So this is our first piece of concrete proof that Rockstar have been on Key West. Then there's this screenshot, which has the store and the whale statue, which in game is called the Wonder Whale, and in real life is based on this massive shrimp statue, and the whole area around here is based on the Rain Barrel village. This scene where Jason beats up the shopkeeper also takes place here, behind the whale statue and the store. Then the western end of Key Lento. We have several buildings from Madeira Road on Isla Morada, then the Isla Marina, and then we have a few more storefronts along the overseas highway. And that's a quick summary of everything we know about Key Lento. So not everything, but most of the buildings and everything important. Then let's jump out to the sea. As we know that there's a lighthouse south of the southern tip of Key Lento, and it's based on the Sombrero Key lighthouse. We saw it well in the leaks and also in this trailer 1 scene, but it was best visible in the leaks. And then all the way south here, there is a small sand key, which is visible here on the first trailer 2 scene, and at this moment is the most southern point of the GTA 6 map that we know of. Then the leak that we got here in the teapot leaks is located exactly here, and that leak contained coordinates, which we have used to get the accurate location of Key Lento and the other keys. So the location of the keys should be accurate. And again, that's mostly thanks to the works of RLX, as he is a fucking wizard. This is the projection which he and a few other mappers came up with. So this is the key screenshot and scenes laid onto the map accurately. So this should be accurate enough, if not completely accurate. But then, west of Key Lento, there's the shortened version of the 7 Mile Bridge, and the shortened version of the old 7 Mile Bridge. Then, the key on the west side of the 7 Mile Bridge is based on mostly Bahia Honda State Park. The Bahia Honda campground is located on the key, and it's basically a copy of the real life campground. But then on the northern side of the key, there's this protrusion for another key, which has the Fat Albert blimp. The Fat Albert blimp is on Cacho Key, which is pretty close to Key West. The blimp is used by the border guard or the coast guard to detect drug smuggling boats. The blimp is visible in several scenes. We first saw it in trailer 1, and it's visible in the opening shot of trailer 2. Also, it can even be seen in some of the Grass River screenshots. And then west of the Bahia Honda Key, there are again the old and the new Bahia Honda bridges, just like with the 7 Mile bridges. Then on the west side of the bridge, there's a coast guard station here, which is based on a coast guard station on Isla Morada. We can see something here on the left, but it's yet to be identified. And this road probably leads to the naval air station, as the road would be pretty weird otherwise. And then we get to talk about the naval air station, which is still shown as speculative on the community map. However, it's basically confirmed to be there. We just don't know the orientation or the layout of it. And the main reason we know this is because we can see some stuff from there in the opening shot of trailer 2. So when we look towards naval air station from all the way back here on the left, we can see the Bahia Honda bridge, which we just talked about. So then the first building here is the Naval Air Station Air Traffic Control Tower. This is a radar in the Naval Air Station, and this is a weather radar outside the Naval Air Station, but near it. Then this tower we don't actually know about. Looks like a water tower or another radar tower. But then the very interesting part, which is this SFUFO building, SFUWO, which is a US Army Special Forces training building, I guess. But the most important part is that in real life it's here on the northern side of Key West, and you can only access it through Key West. Rockstar could have wrapped the Key Wests in a weird way that this is actually coming from Key West, or they could have connected this to the naval air station. Both are very possible, as it seems like that the keys are curving towards the north, unlike in real life. So basically everything is possible up there. And then in the leaks, there's a mention of an event about a gold bar heist on a naval air station, which is probably this one. And then Key West is possibly mentioned in one leaked events as the Cat Mansion, which is the Hemingway home and museum. And yes, that's the novelist Ernest Hemingway, whose wife was Martha Gellhorn. And of course, Gellhorn might refer to, you know, Port Gellhorn. Rockstar has conveniently angled this trailer 2 shot in a way that we don't see to where Key West would be. So they are hiding Key West on purpose. So don't worry, it will be in the game even though we haven't seen it. And thanks for watching. Comment if I forgot to say something very obvious or important about the keys. Like the video and subscribe if you want to see more GTA 6 related content. I have set a small personal goal of 20,000 subscribers before the release of GTA 6. So it would be lovely if you help with that. And of course I make factual and informative content about GTA 6. So you don't want to miss out on my videos when trailer 3 comes. Thank you.